Okay, so we're going to take a look at just the flour sack rig here for a minute. This is the flour sack scene that I have given everybody to use. So let's just flip over to our perspective here, and we'll take a look at the rig. Okay, so if you open the rig, you're going to be able to select any of the controls of the rig, and in your MG picker, you should be able to load the picker that's been created for this rig. Okay. So in the picker, we have the placement control. This is where you're going to basically just place the flour sack where he needs to be. Okay, so if you're going to have him jump, across the screen this way, for instance, if I go to my camera view here, right, then you should be placing the basic rig in that part of the scene. Let's not have his feet go through the floor. Okay, so if you have this, just be mindful that the late stage here, it is a just piece of geometry. Okay, so it's a little lifted up there. So if I just go in there and tighten that up a bit, it does allow us to flatten it out. Okay, so you can see the whole thing here. Alright, so you can see that the feet still go slightly below the floor here, and we'll just animate those so they sit up properly onto the floor when you're animating them. Okay, so again, just go over to the foot and make sure that it is sitting on the floor, and you want to try and get the feet to look like they're kind of gripping the floor as well, if possible. Okay. All right, go back to my picker here. So we have the feet, which are these three here, and we have the base of the foot, the larger one. Okay, the bottom mid control controls the middle of the bottom of the sack. Okay, so you can lift that up or down, and back and forth, etc. You have the basically the hip bone of our character, which is this guy here. Okay, and that can be translated or rotated, and that's for both sides. Then we have the waist control, or the bottom control here, and that basically manipulates our character through the jump. Okay. Now the feet can be parented to the world, which they are right now. So if I was to move the base controller here, the feet would stay locked to the ground. But if I want the feet to come with my body, I'm going to turn this to the hierarchy mode for both of the left bottom and right bottom arms here. So when I move this bottom, okay, it moves with that. Okay. Now this here is our mid control, which is right here, and this basically just controls the middle of our rig. And we can move that up or down. Looks like he's got, strength at the top or whatever we want to do, or he's got like a low belly hanging down. Okay, so you can have some fun with that. And then we have the upper control here, which controls the upper part of the flour sack. Okay, it's got a little bit of a crunch in here. Be mindful of some of these weird shapes that it does go into, but you can rotate this, all right, and you can stretch it, squash it, and it does a pretty good job. Okay. Then we have the arms. Okay, again, these can be set to world or hierarchy. You're going to want to keep these with the hierarchy so that they're animating with the upper part of the sack, but they work the same as the feet do. Okay, same with the mid control. Okay, we have the mid control for the upper part here, back and forth, up and down to give us some posing there. And then we have the ears, okay, which are the same as the feet basically, right? So you want to start with that lower one and then build up off into those feet joints or ear joints, okay, as we go up. And all of these can be selected in the picker just by selecting there and using the picker to do that. If we have the ears, say, rotated down, really far like this, and we want to easily just straighten those out, you can always use the reset selection, and that will reset those ears for you in the right place. He does have a select body controls, which is just the body without the base controller, or all controls, which includes the base controller, and you can use the key all button to set a key for anything that's selected in that. Okay, so if I have these selected, I can hit key all. It's going to key the whole rig for me. Okay, okay, so that's pretty much the rig in a nutshell. You're going to be having the character jump, right? So as the character is getting ready to jump, right, you would want to have him probably have his feet in world space while he's preparing, right? So if you want to have him move around and like move up and down or whatever he is, okay, before he jumps, when he actually leaves the ground, you would transfer that to the hierarchy mode. So let's say that, let me just set a key here and I'll get the body going down like this. Maybe he, gets the top down and he's preparing to like jump here, right? So he's gearing up. Let's get this down, maybe pull that forward, take the mid here, right? Give him a little bit of weight at the front, okay? Let's say that he's gonna jump there, like that, okay? Then his feet are still locked to the ground here, right? They're in IK mode. So when he leaves the floor on 16, I would wanna make sure that I do transfer these over to the hierarchy mode, like that, so that when he is going up in space, right, I'm going to have to move this up as well, okay, but his feet are going to go with him as he stretches up into his jump, and then we can animate those feet leaving the ground as he comes up, okay, and we can animate them coming down, stretching whatever he's doing, okay, as he kind of lifts up off the ground, and you can have his belly kind of drag a little bit, right? So he's showing his weight as he's lifting off the ground. We might want to take the ears and have the ears drag as he's lifting off the ground, right? Something like that. But he's going to lift off the ground, and that's when you want to make that feet transfer from one mode to the other mode. Okay, so there's our rig. It's pretty flexible. You can do quite a bit with it. Okay, pretty simplistic. It's just basically a bouncing ball, but just in a flour sack form. You got to remember that the weight is being carried in his belly. So that's where you want to try and keep that weight as he jumps. Okay. He does have one other controller here. It's called the Show Belly Squash Control. You can see there's a squash deformer on the belly, and you can actually, if you select the belly squash control there, you can control the squash value, and you can alter that squash value to make slight adjustments to the rig. Now that controller is also able to rotate and change here as in different directions as needed, but be careful with that one because that one can get kind of wild and crazy pretty quickly. So you might want to leave that until the final pass and just use that on your polish pass. Just work with the basic controls until you're ready to actually go in and use that. I would leave that off for now. Okay. And again, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know, but it's a fun little rig, and you should be able to get some pretty good posing in that with this guy and have some fun with it. Okay, so that's the basic rig tour for this project.